that like when you see the TV show, you're like, oh, how did they ruin that like that?
Exactly. And that was like what I was sort of afraid would happen here. But luckily my brother is so smart at this and pointed out like, it's still based in reality, but I'm taking a lot more creative liberties here with my person's character, because if she starts out kind of having her life together and she ends with having her life together, that's not necessarily the most fun to watch on screen, right? Well, of course we'll root for her because she's the main character, but wouldn't it be more fun if she starts out as just this like hot mess who has to get her life together because of chemo? That's a lot more, I think, interesting of a story to watch unfold on a screen. So that's the direction I'm taking her. And one note that sticks out too is in the beginning of the script, my character has a conversation with her mom, and my brother had said, like, what if my character hangs up and says, F you? And I was like, I would never say that. I love my mom. I would never tell my mom to F off. And he's like, right, but this isn't exactly you anymore. Remember, this is a more fictionalized version of you. And I was like, hey, no, but I love my mom. I don't want anyone to tell her to F off. Come on. I'm getting a bit more comfortable with taking those creative liberties and making it into a more fun show to watch. But there are very true elements like the diagnosis and the journeys and the realizations, and there is a lot of truth that's going to be in this, but it is more of a fun character arc. I'll say that. Yeah.
It's sometimes fun to do that, to take a story that's kind of true and fictionalize it. But then even when you're writing straight up memoir, even if you're sticking closely to the story, you are still writing you as a character. Like you're picking and choosing the moments you share, the thoughts you share. We don't really get to see the author, really. We get to see the character that the author is letting us see, right?
And actually, there's something here that sort of relates to something about you as well, which is the character I'm writing, who I'm calling Katie. She's very sure about herself. Even though she's a hot mess, she is unapologetically herself. And as that relates to you, I have to say, back in the early 2000s in the Kiss or Kill music scene, that's one thing I very much admired about you. And I will be a Bang Sugar Bang fan until the day I die.
Thank you.
Almost being intimidated by you guys because all of you are up there sharing your music, sharing your art, and being, I can't emphasize this enough, unapologetically you. And I'm sitting there, I just moved here, I'm all insecure about myself and who I am. Do I even fit in here and belong here? And you guys just get up there and you own the stage, and there's such a palpable, delicious energy to that. And at no time, I think, would anyone look up and be like, they seem insecure. And that was something I was so hard, and still sort of have moments of that now. But that is such an admirable trait, is to just be unapologetically yourself. And I admire that about you. I still do.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I certainly was insecure. I don't see how you can be in your 20s and not be insecure, but we all had the benefit of being actors, having acting training. I recommend anybody take an improv class, because getting used to just being in the moment and going with the flow, and you don't know what's going to happen, you just go with it. It can help anybody, no matter what you do in life. So I think that was part of why we were able to seem like we were unapologetically ourselves.
Yes. And honestly, I mean, no one would ever have any inkling, I think, that there were any moments of insecurity with any of you guys up there, because you guys just brought such a assured, amazing creative attitude and creative energy. And I think that's just such a beautiful thing. And I'm trying to write my character Katie that way, is to just own yourself, right? Like, we're all sort of sloppy beings on the inside, right? Like, how boring would life be if we were just like these polished, perfect versions of ourselves? Hell no. What makes us cool and fun and wonderful is these stupid imperfections and these idiosyncrasies that make us ourselves. And again, that's one thing that I think is just so amazing about you, is you just like own yourself. And that's freaking awesome. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, warm and fuzzy now. If you now could give any piece of advice to you, say you either before cancer or even 18-year-old you, what would it be?
Ooh. That is a great, solid question. I think I'm going to skip on the 18-year-old because that chick was a mess. It wouldn't listen to anything I'm going to say. So I'm just going to let her be a mess and make her silly ass mistakes and cut right to my pre-cancer self, because that chick will at least listen to me. 18-year-old me would have just thrown a beer bottle at current me. So I'm going to talk to pre-cancer Kim of 2016 and say, you know what, girl, you're in for a bumpy ass ride, but don't be afraid. It's going to come back to that fear thing, because I think that fear element of life applies to everything, not just cancer. It's like, the fear stuff has really pushed me to do the book, to do the script, to take care of myself, to take risks and not care about failing. Yeah, I did learn that lesson along the way, but I think it would have been cool to maybe have these realizations before this life-altering cancer diagnosis. If I could say anything, it would be that. It's just don't be afraid to be you and fail and take risks and grow and just own your life. Just do it. Life is short, man. Things are crazy. Just go after what you want and don't be afraid. Just do it, dude.
That's great advice for everybody. Well, where can our listeners connect with you online? What's the best way?
Come find me on the gram. I think we're all mostly on the gram these days. My handle is at Kimberly Tronic, just like it sounds, Kimberly, Tronic, Tronic. Come give me a holla on the gram, and I have all my fun links of everything I write and do and think on the Insta bio. So that's probably the best place. I'm also on the Facebooks, and I'm debating whether I want to stay on Twitter or not, because that's turned into something else in the last couple of
Twitter's so mean. Everyone's just mean on Twitter.
It is. Twitter's a schoolyard bully that I'll dip my foot into here and there and then just back off and be nah, I'm still kind of cool. So I don't know how long I'll be on there, but I think I'll be on the gram forever.
And then is the best way they can support you to buy your book, or what's the best way they can support you?
Yeah, that would be amazing. If anybody so desires and wants to read all the craziness in my head, just head over to Amazon and just type in my name, Kimberly Tronic, or if you can remember, the Dear Diary, Does This Cancer Make My Ass Look Fat? is the book's title. That's
a great title.
Yeah, thank you.
I love that that's a running thing throughout the book. It's how much weight you've lost, and you're actually kind of happy that you're getting down to goal weight. And then after cancer, you're well, I'm up to this much. We get to know exactly how much you weigh throughout every stage.
Dude, I've never been so obsessed with my weight and my looks as I was during chemo. It was driving me effing insane. But I will say, I had a bit of weight to spare at the beginning of this journey. So very selfishly, as I watched the scale go down, I was yes, 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 yes. And I remember two particular friends were I'm so sorry that you're bald and have cancer, but you look really good. I was I know. I'm terrible, but cancer really was a great way to get to my goal weight. So I am grateful for that.
Way to look on the bright side.
Yeah. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but it was the easiest weight loss I've ever had to endure. So again, thank you, tumors, for getting this waistline into a size that I appreciate.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
maybe we all not have to go through that and just live a healthy life. Let's hope.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It was so fun having you as a guest.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I love that you're doing this, supporting women and just putting all this wonderful, positive content out there during a time when we desperately need it. So thank you for doing what you're doing. And I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, totally. Anytime. Maybe we'll have you back after the script gets sold or something.
Yes, exactly. I'll call that part 2. Thank you so much.
Wasn't that an amazing conversation? Isn't she just so inspiring? Oh man, there was so much good in there. I've got a long list of takeaways, so get ready. Number 1, you may not even realize it, but by telling your story, you give others permission to tell theirs. Number 2, sometimes bad things that happen to us can have good side effects. Number 3, your attitude is everything. Number 4, the only way out is through. Number 5, where there's a will, there's a way. Nothing is impossible. Number 6, make the best decision you can with the information you have at the time. That's all any of us can do. Number 7, you're going to create a lot of shitty work on the way to creating good work. It's part of the process. Just accept it and keep creating. Number 8, artists are never done learning. There's always more to learn. Number 9, writing is an excellent coping mechanism. Number 10, aim higher. Who cares if you fail? Failing is part of success. Number 11, what if we lived in a place of hope instead of fear? Number 12, when you are unapologetically yourself, you give others permission to do the same. Number 13, take an improv class. And number 14, life is short. Own your life. Don't be afraid. Go for what you want. That was a long list, but there's just so much good in there. I had to include everything. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. I am so grateful for you. I know there are a million things you could be doing with your time, and I feel so honored that you chose to spend this time with me. You can view the show notes and the links to everything that was mentioned in this episode at my website, which is gxrlpod.com, girlpod.com. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, please subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review, and share it with someone who might enjoy it. I'm going to leave you with the latest Bang Sugar Bang single, 2 Bullets. It's from our upcoming album, Invisible City, which is our first record in 13 years, and we are releasing it August 24th. Until next time.